Train by day, Kyle Wigington podcast by night, all day.
Olivia Barnes.
Yes. Hi.
You having a good Sunday?
I am having a good Sunday. This is my first event this Sunday, other than grabbing coffee before
I was going to say, what else do you have going on today? You have a big Sunday?
I'm working tonight.
Okay.
So I work at Commander's Palace, which is a classic New Orleans
fancy restaurant.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Way above my price range.
Right. Me too. Yeah. But
do you get to eat the food since you work there?
I get some of the leftover desserts at the end of the night. And that's about it. I haven't really tried much of the stuff, but I've tried some of the drinks.
How long have you been at Commander's Palace?
Since June.
Dates don't work in my brain.
Okay, so for about, October? So what, June, July, August, September, October, maybe four months?
That's better.
Yeah, about 4 months.
Anytime someone says the date, I'm like, oh shit, now I got to figure this out.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know, honestly. I had to do my own counting.
Well, I think it was whenever the COVID thing happened is when all that just kind of went away.
Yeah, no.
I was like, is time
1,000%.
even real anymore?
No, it does. It's not.
Yeah, I spent a year in my apartment. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Right. No, 100%. But yeah, I've been working there since June. And it's been good, you know. You meet such interesting people, and you know, it's fun. It's a fun time.
You do. I worked in restaurants whenever I was in college and stuff too.
Yeah.
And I did Ruby Tuesdays, Olive Garden.
Nice.
And then I did fine dining too at the end.
Cool.
And so I ran the gambit.
Yeah.
And I never want to go back.
Yeah. Every time I've worked in restaurants also since I was like 16. And every time I leave a restaurant, I'm like, I'm never going back to the service industry. And then I just do it again.
Yeah. Well, it's flexible hours and it's good money.
It is. Especially as a musician. It's super flexible. And it's honestly kind of fun.
It is. Like the people you meet are really cool. I think the people you work with, you get such huge personalities when you're working in jobs like that.
Totally.
The movie Waiting. Have you ever seen that?
No.
With Ryan Reynolds?
Mm-mm.
Oh my goodness, dude. You got it.
Waiting. Oh, the one. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I do
at
know
a restaurant.
Yes, I've seen like clips of that here and there, but
so you got to watch the whole movie.
I know.
It's a little older, yeah. So
because every time I watch clips of it, I'm like, that's hilarious.
Oh, it's just like it, yeah. I mean, the personalities they have in that film, I was like, yes, I worked with this person at every restaurant.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
kind of weird, actually.
It is. There's always your token people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one was I? That's the real question. Which one are you?
I don't know. I'd like to say that in my head, I'm friendly and like to keep everything light. Like to keep it optimistic, if you will.
I don't even know if that person was in the film. Maybe like that was one of the hosts or something. I don't know.
Maybe. I know. I'd like to think I'm like maybe a little less jaded, or I try not to be.
So you said you came here for school?
I did come here for school.
Where are you at in school?
I actually just graduated. I went to Tulane though.
Oh, congratulations on graduation.
Thanks.
Graduating. Yeah. Would you graduate with? This music?
No, I actually didn't study music at all. I did. I studied like communications and cognitive studies, and then I minored in English. So
why did you choose not to pursue music in college?
So I honestly didn't start taking music seriously, I guess, until I was like a sophomore in college. Like I had always written songs, and you know, I had always played and stuff like that, but like I didn't realize that it could actually be a thing for me until later on in college. And then I also didn't want to I was worried that if I studied music, then I would kind of get like an aversion to it. Cause like sometimes when you study something in school, it just like becomes too much and you don't want to do it. Like I didn't want it to feel like a burden, you know? Like
no, I feel that. Yeah. I even think that about getting paid for stuff. Like I work in film as well. So when people are paying me to do jobs, I'm like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I just want to work on my own stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And I took one music class and I liked it. It was like a production class, but I found myself like not wanting to do the work. And I never want to feel like I don't want to do the work. You know what I mean? And I want it to come from me. No,
I think that's definitely, I've been there before too, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I took one acting class in college, and once again, that sparked like a flame inside of me. I was like, hang on, what is this? Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pursue this, but I'm not going to pursue it on someone else's time.
Right.
Yeah. But no, I graduated with a degree too, and I don't even use it.
Yeah. I run
a bar and work in film. I mean, I think this is like the artist's life in 2024.
Totally. 1,000%. You have to kind of put your eggs in multiple different baskets, sort of.
Yeah, especially musicians. I know a ton of musicians, and it's what they do. They work in restaurants or serve coffee, and they perform on the weekends. And it's It's awesome. I visit all their shows.
Yeah, I know. It's really fun. A lot of my bandmates are like, they'll play in like a lot of different bands, and that's part of, some of them work in restaurants also, but some of them can make money fully off of doing that, you know, gigging just around the town. But yeah,
I had a guy in a while back and I forgot the name of his band. But I saw them at Ferret Fest and they performed. And I was like, dude, I got to get this guy on. It was awesome. It was like totally different than all the other bands.
Yeah.
But I was kind of asking him, picking his brain about it too. And he said, yeah, that he has a spot on Bourbon Street that they perform every like 2 or 3 days, and it pays the bills. And I was like, that's awesome. If you can get a gig like that, that's the way to go. And especially this city.
Totally. Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%. You got to find the right ones.
So I saw one of your videos today and it looked like you were at Gasa. Have you performed at Gasa?
I did perform at Gasa. I performed at Gasa a few times.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. And I miss it. It was it had its ups and downs, of course.
Yeah.
But it was a great venue. I had some really, really fun shows there.
I've been talking to people. I'm trying to get them to reopen it. I don't know. We'll see.
Is that a possibility?
It is a possibility. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's some big things going on Ferret Street right now. We'll see if they can pull the things off.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see what they can do there. I know. I especially being in college, being down at Tulane, just down the road, Gasa was a great place. I mean, because people, you know, don't have to go too far to go see your show. You know, there's not much of an excuse, I guess.
Do you have other places that you perform, or your favorite places in town that you like to perform?
Yeah, I performed at Carrollton Station a lot.
Awesome
That was
place.
like it's so great. That was like my first gig was Carrollton Station. Gosh, where else have I performed? I performed at Saturn Bar recently for the first time.
Love Saturn Bar too.
Love Saturn Bar. That was a really, really fun gig. Let's see. Where else have I performed? Okay, this was not me. This wasn't my own set, but what some of my friends were playing at Tipitina's, and I wrote this song with them. And so I got to go out at Tipitina's one time.
That's
and
awesome.
That was really cool. So at Tipitina's, not really, but kind of.
Was it a packed house that night?
Yeah.
How good does that feel to be on stage in front of like
God.
a packed house like that?
It was unreal. It was a really, really cool. It was a really cool experience.
Yeah, I've done live performances a couple times doing theater, like on stage.
Yeah.
I love like the adrenaline rush when you're up there.
Yeah.
But just like the getting prepared for doing theater is so fucking long.
Yeah.
So I'd much rather do film. But there's something about being on stage in front of that many faces that just like, it's impossible to explain, and there's nothing else that's like it.
Literally. Yeah. It's like a whole nother, like it feels otherworldly in a way. It's like an insane adrenaline rush. It's like performing has been the reason that I'm still, you know.
Do you think you could get addicted to it? Because have you watched the Elvis Presley movie?
Yes.
So, you know, he was like addicted to the fame, right?
I can totally see that. I haven't performed enough for it to be like addictive, but like it could be like every time I finish a gig, I'm like, oh my God, literally I need to perform immediately as soon as I possibly can after this. It's so, especially when you're, you know, like, especially when I'm performing original songs and stuff, it's just like a whole nother, it's so cool.
How many songs do you have that are your own?
Oh gosh, that are all like ready. Okay. Not all are produced, obviously. We're in the works of that. I would say probably that are like good, solid that I perform live, probably like 10 or 11.
That's good.
I want to say, yeah.
Yeah. And they're all your own. They're originals. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And whenever you're creating a new song, do you start with the music first, or do you have like a poem written that you start with and then go from there?
It kind of depends. It depends on if I'm co-writing or if I'm writing by myself, first of all. Like sometimes I'll have something just like kind of pop in my head. Like recently, one of the more recent songs that I wrote, I was just like eating breakfast or something like that. And I just had this like melody pop into my head and this like little line. And I was like, that sounds kind of cool. And then I put music to it. So sometimes it's like a chord progression and then I'll do a melody and then the words will kind of follow. But sometimes it's like, I'll think of something and be like, oh shit, I need to write that down or like get that onto the guitar somehow. Yeah.
I love asking musicians like how they do it as well, their process.
Yeah.
There was one guy that came on a while back. His name is Zach Smallman.
Okay.
You familiar with Zach?
I'm not, no.
He was also at Tulane.
Cool. Okay.
But he was basically saying that he'll sit down with the with the beat because he has a friend that does all the music.
Yeah.
So I'll sit down with that and he'll like hum along with it. And he says once he gets like the humming out, he just fills in the words. That's
sort of similar to how I do it sometimes too.
And I was like, that's so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's like the pressure of getting like the right, like sometimes the melody like makes the words more obvious. Like sometimes I find that if I do the melody first, then I can kind of fit the words in a little bit better and make it make more sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was listening to John Mayer one time and he was like, dude, it doesn't matter what you fucking say.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if that's 100%.
If you're John Mayer, maybe.
If you're John Mayer, okay. If you're John Mayer, he's maybe a different. I've heard people say that before, and I think in certain genres of music that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think, but I don't know though. There's some words that connect with people and some that don't. You can tell. I think sometimes if people are being inauthentic or like trying to be like something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense. So, I mean, if you have something that you're trying to say, it makes sense that you would put the words in a certain order.
Right, right.
I think a good little exercise would be to get on ChatGPT and tell it to like make you a list of 100 random words.
Oh, I like that.
And just make a song out of that.
That's fun.
Like just see what it can do.
Oh, we've tried. Me and one of my friends, we asked ChatGPT to write us a song one time. The lyrics of a song.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Oh, was it?
It was very, very bad.
Would it just like write a poem or something?
Essentially, but like it was like lyrics that had like a chorus. We were like, write a song about, I can't even remember what it was, but I was like, okay, at least they can't take that away from us just yet.
Well, hang on.
Not yet.
Let me burst that bubble real quick.
Oh God.
So I love AI. Okay.
Okay.
I'm deep in it, man. Okay. As soon as I discover something new, I'm like, I got to fucking play with this all day.
Yeah, so it is entertaining.
The most recent one was an app called Suno, Suno. Highly recommend checking it out. But you can basically go in there and you get like 200 words and you describe the song you want. And then it makes 2 versions of that song and you pick which one you like. And it is amazing.
Really?
So I tried it probably like in January and it fucking sucked. It was version 1.0. And I tried it about 2 months ago and it was version 3.5 now. It's already came that far that fast.
Oh, Lord.
And I'm like, wait for like 6 more months. But here's what I did. I have a buddy who's a rapper and I basically made a song about his life, just told the Suno AI to do that. And it made an awesome song. And then I gave it to him and I was like, dude, now go and reproduce this.
Yeah.
Like pull the lyrics off this. Yeah. And then just do it with your own voice.
Huh. And how'd it go? Did he do it?
He hasn't done it yet.
He's
like you. He's hesitant, you know?
Yeah.
But I think these are just tools.
That's a good way to think about it. It's like, I was talking about this with some of my friends who are musicians last night. And we were like, it kind of like when you hear an AI song that's good, you're kind of like, damn it. Yeah. Like, you're like, I could have like, you know, you're like, can it replace you? But I don't know. I don't think it quite can.
I agree with you. I think there's humans have soul.
Right.
And that comes across in the music. Yeah.
Yeah.
We recently did a project too, where we come up with a small paragraph of what we wanted our film to be like. We're making a short film.
Nice.
And then we stuck it into ChatGPT and said, write an outline for us. And then it came up with an outline for us. And then we gave it to 2 of our buddies who are writers. And we said, now make this into a short film. Huh. So basically we used AI as a co-writer.
Interesting. Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff that I can totally see it being helpful and useful. And especially with the exercises, I like that idea of, you know, give me 100 words and I'll write a song with it. You know what I mean?
I'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. I recommend looking at Suno too. It's just a cool website to play with.
Yeah.
But I was listening to this guy and he was basically saying that AI is not going to replace human jobs. Humans that know how to use AI are going to replace human jobs. And when I heard that, I was like, I'm going to learn everything I can about it now.
That's really interesting. That makes me feel better.
Yeah. So I I definitely recommend learning the sites and just kind of like getting a feel for how it all works. But yeah, don't lose your soul.
Don't lose your soul. We were listening to me and some friends were listening to, have you heard like BBL Drizzy? Are you familiar?
That sounds familiar.
It's like this song that they made through AI Because it's like this whole thing with Drake. Like, I don't even know. It's like some social media thing.
Yeah, Drake and the other guy has the beef. What's the other guy's name?
Meek Mill?
No, not Meek Mill. Is it Meek Mill too?
Ago. I don't even know. I'm not like
it's
that.
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick. Oh, duh. Yeah, but everyone's like, OMG, he has a BBL. Like, obviously he doesn't, but like, it's just like a joke, like a running joke. And they made like an AI song called BBL Drizzy. And it's like, I hate that it's good.
Yeah, it's good.
It's funny, but it's like they kind of did it in like a funk soul way. And we were listening to it and we were like, I hate that this is like that I'm enjoying myself listening to this right now.
I'll
but
have to look that
it's
one
funny.
up.
It's hilarious. I enjoy it.
So to shift topics a little bit, you said you studied cognitive
studies.
So what is that actually?
Cognitive studies, I basically took a bunch of different classes. Like I took anthropology classes, sociology, psychology, philosophy, those sort of classes, all kind of mushed up into one. So it's all sort of like human brain stuff, I guess, society stuff.
Yeah, I think we need more of that actually. I think that people get too compartmentalized these days in their field of study.
Totally.
And I think the key to changing our current society is to connect the dots.
Oh, 1,000%.
And connect the dots across broad spectrums of knowledge. Yeah. That's my thing too. I graduated college, but I fucking hated every second of it.
Did you?
Yeah. I want to learn everything. I don't want to just learn what's in my box. And they basically train you to do one job for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And that's why I graduated and started working in IT. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to kill myself if I keep doing this.
No, I totally get that. I've had to work like 9 to 5s and stuff. And you know, I've done that here and there, and it's definitely not. I'm not built for that. I don't think.
What were you doing?
I actually worked for a music, and I had a great time, but I interned for a music marketing company this summer going into my senior year of college, and it was really cool. And you know, they were doing branding stuff with artists. It was in Nashville, so. That was cool to like kind of be in that Nashville scene a little bit.
To learn from that too.
You totally do. Yeah. But I think the whole time I was just like, I want to be on the other side. Like I want to be the musician doing this kind of, you know? Yeah. And then sitting at a desk all day is just also not, it just drains you like no other. Like truly.
And it's so hard to perform and stuff after that too.
It is. And it just to like move your body and feel inspired too. Like I was struggling so much with writing music and like being creative. You know, I was in Nashville. I was in such a music city, but it was so hard to come home from a 9 to 5. You have to make dinner, exercise if you want to. You don't like really get everything finished till like 9:30 or 10. And then you're like tired as fuck. So it's like, you know.
Yeah, so I think that's like, there's like two sides to that, you know, where yes, it drains you, but at the same time, it can push you to get better because you're like, I fucking hate this. I need to do something. Yes,
that is honestly, I think that was part of the reason that after graduation, I was like, you know what? We're going to run this. We're going to try to be a musician.
I like it. You got what's your big plans?
My big plan. Oh gosh. Well, it's ever changing, if you will.
Absolutely. It's evolution. Yeah.
Right. But I have been working on music to release recently. I'd love to, obviously the goal is to be financially dependent on just music. And you know, that's all you do. To tour, to release albums and things like that. That's kind of, you know, and be able to just live off that. Would be the life, I think.
I like it. I have a ton of musician friends.
Yeah.
And I'm always I love Instagram because my Instagram, I've basically tailored my algorithms to teach me things.
Nice.
So one of the things it teaches me is about like the music industry. And cool. I really don't even want to know about the music industry. Yeah. I just have all these friends that I'm like, I could probably help these guys out if I just keep learning more.
Totally.
So it's kind of cool to see how artists actually make their money in that sector.
Well, it is interesting. You know, I have a friend who just makes money off of music. That's all he does. And
how does he do it?
So he just has recently toured. He gets his streams. I think that helps, and then also like merch. Yeah, is the biggest. Yeah, is the biggest thing.
So there's a website that I turned my buddies onto. I think it's Printify. I think that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, and Printify allows you to make an online website for free.
Huh.
So you basically go to Canva and you create your images and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go to Printify and you upload them on t-shirts. And there's like, it's not even t-shirts. There are t-shirts, but there's like 1,000 products you can upload on. And you just create your online store for free.
Really?
Yeah, because they make money when you sell things. They're taking a percentage of it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so and I turned all these guys onto it. So like they have their own
I
merch
literally Printify.
Yeah, I'll send.
Okay, please send that to me afterwards.
I got you. Yeah, that's one of the outlets that they're using now, and they're actually printing off merch when they go perform too, to have it on hand to sell.
Yeah, and honestly, that kind of stuff is fun. I've been working on obviously, I'm kind of right now my own manager, graphic designer, freaking booking agent, all this kind of stuff. So I've been really trying to learn Canva and trying to make everything look good, but it's kind of fun. The idea of making merch and,
Canva is now integrated with AI as well.
I know. I'm a Canva girl. I love Canva. And the AI is freaking sick. That's been helpful for me.
No, Canva was a game changer. I mean, I've used Adobe forever, so I know all the Adobe Creative Cloud suite.
Yeah.
But Canva is just so user friendly.
It is. And I'm so not I'm not a visual artist, not a visual, I've never been good at that kind of stuff. And they make it so easy.
Yeah.
And I have been able to make things that are not horrible through it, which has been really helpful for me.
Yeah. Have you used the AI functions on it yet?
I have. Have I? I don't know. What are they again?
So there's generative fill where you can basically say, put this on this. So for instance, I uploaded a picture of our karaoke host, which is a drag queen on there.
Nice.
Chopped out the background and then said, add flames all around. And it added flames all around. It's incredible.
In a perfect way.
Oh, dude. And it
That's crazy.
It gives you 3 versions of it. So you can pick which one you're into and then go from there. And you can tell it to add more stuff if you want to.
That's so cool.
But my buddy sent me a thing yesterday where they just integrated ChatGPT with Canva. And I'm not sure how to use that yet.
Interesting. I know that they can you can write a sentence and they can make the sentence more interesting for you.
Yeah.
They're are you trying to be friendly and whatever? Are you trying to be more professional and serious?
Mm-hmm.
They can build what you're trying to say, I guess.
Yeah. So the video that he sent me, the woman was in ChatGPT, I believe. Mm-hmm. And she basically typed in, create this in Canva, and then typed in what she wanted. Mm-hmm. And it literally opened up Canva and just presented her with what she wanted.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. That's the kind of AI I can get behind.
Yeah, I mean, it could make a poster for you instantly if you needed to. Because I have a bunch of friends and they're like, dude, will you make me a poster? And I'm like, bro, it's so easy now.
Yeah. You can literally type in 3 words and figure it out.
That's my biggest hurdle when getting my friends to use AI is they don't want to use it. Mm-hmm. And it'll make your life so much easier, but just getting them to actually use it. So I made one a while back. And it was an assistant basketball coach for my friend who's a basketball coach.
Oh, nice.
And he won't use it.
Really?
And I'm like, dude, this is an AI that's specifically made to analyze basketball games and analyze your team and help you out. You just won't use it.
That's so interesting. Mm-hmm. I know. I feel like this is I'm sure there were people when the computer was invented that are like, I'm never gonna touch that, or the iPhones or whatever were invented, and that's us, but in the future.
Yeah, but he's not that old yet.
He's not that old. No, I'm saying that we have the old person mindset.
You're not that old yet either. Come on.
I'm not. I know, but yeah.
We got to be able to change with the times, right?
I know. And that's important. You're convincing me, honestly.
What's getting harder as things progress quicker. Mm-hmm. It's like the whole crypto thing.
Yeah.
There are so many people that have that's the reason that didn't take off, is because it's it's so hard to understand.
Yeah.
That the average person's brain now is just credit card, cash money.
Right.
They don't understand that that's also digital money.
Right.
Yeah. But it's it's like you said, when the internet first came out, you had to type in these long URLs to get to places.
Right.
But now it's so easy.
Yeah.
So I think eventually it's all just going to be seamlessly integrated.
Yeah. I think so too. Honestly, this is a very optimistic. I like the optimistic, because you hear so many negative things, but it's a helpful thing.
About cool. AI?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had those conversations with people too. And my take on that is humans are already fucking everything up.
That is so true.
Let's give AI a chance.
Right. We could use a little help, I think.
I mean, if they do take over the world, it's like, we were probably going to kill ourselves anyway.
That is very true. We're actually on the way there already.
Yeah. Do you follow like the war and politics and anything?
I do follow, unfortunately. It's
kind of shoved down your throat these days, right?
It is. It is a little bit. It's just horrible. It's nauseating to look at, to think about, any of that.
I just don't get killing anyone.
No, me neither.
That's my take, is like, why is anyone fighting when we have these large brains that we can talk things out?
Right. And there's no, I hate when people like try to act like certain lives are more valuable than others. And it's like, at the end of the day, we all got the same,
Yeah, we're all humans.
the same.
No human should die.
Exactly. And that's what's so frustrating.
It doesn't matter what group you belong to.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Now that blows my mind so I recently had a really good podcast with one of my buddies from back in Arkansas, and we were talking about religion and how for him, it's like a community thing. Yeah. But there's so many people that blow that way out of the proportion.
Oh my God. Yeah.
When they're like, my community is better than yours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
1,000%. Well, people have like a holier than thou sort of situation, or like a sort of mindset, and are so closed off.
And which should tell you right there, they're not holier than thou. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Or on some sort of like moral high ground. I grew up in Georgia, and so that's obviously Bible Belt sort of situation. And there's, that totally,
Did you go to church and stuff when you grew up?
I did grow up to go to church. I grew up Presbyterian, so it was definitely a little more lax than like if you're like some other denominations.
What do the Presbyterians think? Like, what is their?
I think there are some Presbyterian churches that are in on gay marriage, some that are not. I don't remember what my church.
They do allow gay people to get married?
Yeah, they do allow gay people to get married. But yeah, they're obviously still like under the organized religion situation, but definitely like a little more willing to change with the times, for sure.
Yeah, I actually went to a Presbyterian college.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, Bethel in Tennessee.
Cool.
And it was cool.
Yeah.
Like, it was the same shit to me that I grew up with. I grew up going to a Baptist it's Baptist church, but I only went until I was like old enough, like I say, like 9 or so. Yeah. My parents gave me the choice. They're like, you don't have to go if you don't want to.
Right.
And I'm like, hell yeah, I'd rather stay and watch cartoons anyway.
Yeah. It's definitely a burden. But then I also, when I was a kid, like I didn't want to go. And then I went all the way until I was 18, until I left home. And then I never really got back into it here. But I definitely, like, I think as I get older, I understand the community aspect more. Because I think as a kid, I was kind of like, why do you guys want to do this? It doesn't make any sense. Why do you want to go to church? Yeah,
my buddy has a family and stuff, so that makes perfect sense. They live in a small town too,
right?
So it's kind of like they have their little pack there.
Totally.
For me, I really think they didn't want me to come back. I think that was the issue, because I like to ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, I was always that's it. I always had a lot of questions that kind of were unanswered, and that was really frustrating, I think, and confusing growing up.
I don't think it was frustrating for me. I think it was frustrating for them, because they were starting to realize that they didn't have the answers either.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I found. So I've definitely over the past few years been a little like just trying to figure out what I think, I think
mushrooms are the answer.
I think mushrooms are the answer. I've never done mushrooms. I tweak whenever I've smoked weed, and I tweak whenever I smoke weed. So I don't know if mushrooms are my friend. They might be.
Yeah. I think there's a right and a wrong way to do these things. Luckily for me, I think that I got introduced to them the right way.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people abuse these drugs.
1,000%. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the right way is to take a small dose of mushrooms, not a huge dose.
Yeah.
And then go into a dark room.
Really?
Yeah. And sit with yourself. Like, don't go out in nature. You go out in nature, you're going to be getting external stimulus. If you go into a dark room, you really got to go inside of yourself and deal with your own shit. Right.
Do it as like a meditative, like therapeutic sort of situation. Yeah. I can totally see that. I have a friend who used to microdose a lot, and it was crazy how much it helped her mental health. She was like going through it, and it really kind of brought her out of that. It just gave her, she would, describe how it kind of gave her like a childlike perspective on the world.
Yeah, I agree. I've been microdosing now for about 2 years.
Have you really? Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, I do every other day.
Cool. And you enjoyed it. I'm assuming it's been 2 years.
I mean, when you do a microdose properly, you're not actually feeling anything.
Yeah.
It just kind of like when someone says something to you that would typically set you off.
Yeah.
You just kind of go, okay, whatever.
Right. Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You're able to roll things off your back a little bit easier.
Yeah, because you realize that none of it really matters.
Right.
Like the reason that you're saying something negative to me is because you are having a bad day. It doesn't have to affect my day.
Yeah. That's great, actually. And it doesn't make you tweak.
No, because microdoses are very small doses.
Right.
Yeah, so you're not actually taking like a huge a tweaking dose of psilocybin.
Right. Where you're gonna like have hallucinations and
I
jump off a bridge.
I think I've only done like 5 pretty big doses.
Yeah.
And they changed my life.
Wow.
But I don't have a desire to do that all the time.
Yeah.
When you do them the right way, you don't want to keep going back.
You kind of do the fixing a little bit.
Yeah.
You sort of are able to dive in an interesting way.
Yeah, and whenever you need to like do another one. When you hit the reset button.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. That's cool.
I don't recommend it for everyone, but if there's anyone out there that's like a seeker, or you're trying to figure out something about yourself, give it a rip.
Yeah, might as well. We only have one life.
Absolutely.
Might as well.
But then you can take that out of, blow that out of proportion and say, what about the other drugs,
Right. I know. There is such a fine line. That is so true.
I was listening to one of the Rogan podcasts yesterday as I was doing some editing, and he was saying that there's a professor that he knows that takes all the drugs, but he does them in a clinical way where he studies the drugs. And one of his favorite ones is heroin.
What?
Yeah, he said heroin actually expands his relationship with his wife.
What?
Yeah, he was in... I forgot who the guest was he had on, but the guest was making fun of it. He's like, there's no way he can take drugs and not get addicted to them.
Yeah. Has he gotten addicted to them?
He says he's not. He said he's studying them in a very clinical fashion where he's basically studying the effects on himself rather than doing it on someone else and observing.
That's so interesting. I wonder, you know what? But I kind of respect that because I feel like someone's got to do it, sort of. Like that's probably so much information that you wouldn't be able to get because a lot of people are addicted. So it's like they're obviously not writing down how they feel or like what the certain symptoms are, or like how it changes them.
Well, yeah, and you only get so much from actually observing someone.
Yeah.
Because like how much can they tell you when they're in full on,
right. Right.
Because I think heroin like zones you out, right? Shuts you down.
Yeah. That's so interesting. It expands his relationship with his wife. I can't even imagine what.
Yeah, he didn't go into that in detail, but I need to look into who the guy actually is.
Yeah, me too. I have a lot of things to look up after this.
Yeah, it also makes me question like what other drugs the guy experiments with like this.
Yeah.
But
DMT, that's
DMT.
such an interesting
I haven't done
interesting
DMT
one
yet.
to me. Me neither.
Yeah.
But I've heard it's like you feel like you're dying and it's crazy and it's
well, they do say that you release
altering.
DMT whenever you die, right? And whenever you're born.
Yeah.
But they also say that monks and meditators can release DMT just by meditating.
Really?
And so I had a meditative experience one time and I was really pushing myself when I was doing this. I was fasting and sleep depriving myself to kind of like enhance the effects.
Yeah.
And I thought I was dying one day.
Really?
So I don't know if I had a DMT release or if I was having a stroke or a heart attack.
Well, you're here.
Yeah, I'm still here. But,
That's so interesting.
but I literally thought I was dying and I accepted death. And whenever I accepted death, it was kind of like, that was it. It was complete.
That's so crazy. That must be a peaceful feeling, honestly.
It is. It was very peaceful. That was another one of those life-changing experiences.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, you're going to die, right?
Mm-hmm. That was always like my biggest fear as a kid.
I mean, do you still fear it? You probably do. It's probably just
yeah.
down there somewhere deep.
Yeah. It was definitely like I had like pretty bad OCD or still have, but like when I was a kid, I did. And it would always be like, if I don't do XYZ, then I'm going to die. Cause that fear of just like, I thought I was going to have a heart attack like at any moment. Cause I was just like, you could just die and everything could be.
Where did that come from? Like, how did you even know what death was?
I have literally, you know what? I think you see things as a kid, like you watch TV and you watch the news and you're like, oh, people die. And then you talk about it at church too. And you're like, oh, you go to heaven. And then you're like, wait, oh my God, like, are you going to go to hell? And then I had like friends who are Jewish and I'm like, oh my God, are my Jewish friends going to go to hell? Like, what's going on? They're good people, you guys.
Do they believe in heaven and hell? What do the Jews believe in?
Jews. Well, I don't actually know, but I feel like I should know that. But I knew that like I had always been told, you know, if you don't accept Jesus, then it's hell for you.
Right.
So I was like, that sucks for my friend Elaine. You don't deserve that, Elaine.
Elaine.
You don't. You're great, Elaine.
But then Elaine's sitting there going, well, you're wrong.
I know, exactly. So that's why that was also confusing. But then the whole death thing, I think I also have a control. Like I'm someone who doesn't like to feel out of control. And death is the ultimate form of being out of control.
Yeah.
So that's always been in the back of my head.
That was for me too. Whenever I was dying,
yeah.
I was like, should I text someone?
Yeah.
Should I let someone know?
Right.
And then when I set the phone down, I was like, no, if this is it, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like released all of that.
That's so interesting. Where were you?
I was I was meditating by Bayou St. John.
Oh my gosh, that's like right by where I live.
And then I got up and I walked back to my apartment. And when I was in my apartment, I thought I was having a heart attack.
Oh my God.
And I laid down on the bed, and that's when I had that, like, should I text someone and let them know that I'm dying?
Holy shit.
And then I just like, nah, if this is it, it's it.
Wow. That's a release. That's a letting go, unlike anything.
But what if I did die?
Right. I know. Well, you know, there's nothing you can do after that.
Yeah. Oh, it's kind of how I feel about it anyway.
Yeah.
Like one day it's going to happen, and now I'm kind of like over it.
Yeah.
Like it's already happened once.
Right. You've already kind of experienced those big feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I know. You hear things. I always would hear things about people, you know, like dying and then they're getting revived or whatever. And a lot of people say that they have this like overwhelming sense of peace and love. And then some people say it's total darkness. So it's like,
I would agree with the peace and love, but then the next day, because I passed out after that. Like after that experience,
oh my gosh. So you literally,
yeah. And then I woke up the next day and I was like, what the fuck was that?
That's crazy.
And for like the next 3 days, I was just in such a weird space because I couldn't explain anything about that experience that I just had. And I couldn't tell anyone because they're going to be like, send this guy to the psych ward.
Right. Are you religious at all?
No.
No.
Not at all.
Did it make you feel any sort of spiritualness?
Not at all. So someone gave me a book during that time that I was reading, and it's called The Science of Yoga. And fascinating book. And I was practicing some of the meditation techniques that are taught in the book. And that's what led to that whole experience.
Interesting.
And in yoga, they call it a Kundalini awakening.
Really? Oh, so it's
a thing. Yeah.
A thing.
Yeah. So
that's so interesting.
They say that there's energy, the chakras.
Yeah.
You familiar with chakras?
I vaguely.
So basically like energy centers that are going up your spine.
Right.
And they say this energy is in the base, your base chakra, and it's coiled up. And when you start doing these meditation techniques, that one of the pump systems in your body. So you have your lymphatic system. So it's not an automatic system. You have to move your body to get the lymph fluid around your body. But there's also another one they don't really teach you about, and that is the spinal column. And so when you're doing these meditation techniques, you're basically creating a pumping suction in your upper neck. Yeah. And it's causing this spinal fluid to bathe your brain.
Huh.
But this is in the physical plane. So if you take it a step further, you're saying this is all energy, right?
Right.
So when this energy is rising up your spine and it finally hits your brain, you have this like awakening, this enlightenment experience, or the Kundalini awakening.
Wow. That's really interesting.
It's a cool thing. It's a cool book too. If you're a reader.
Sure. Yeah. I've been getting into yoga a lot more this year. So it doesn't tell you anything about yoga. That's Western yoga. Okay. Yoga. Well, yeah, this is definitely whitewashed yoga that I'm doing.
Teaches you like that yoga is a way to live. That every place you're at, like right now, you can be meditating,
right?
Because this is a Zen way to live.
Interesting. Oh, man, I'm gonna write that down too.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Please. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, that really changed my life. Those experiences did, but I don't know. It's interesting to also think about where I would be if that guy didn't come in and give me that book. You ever think about that? Like the people come into your life for a reason?
Oh my God, yes. Yes. I have one of my friends, literally the reason that I'm doing music right now. My friend Ethan, he was the first one who like I co-wrote with when I was a sophomore, junior in college, who like we really connected and wrote some stuff that I was like, what? This is so good. And, you know, I think he introduced me to my now roommates and, you know, I would absolutely, and then my roommates that I have now, if I didn't know them and I wouldn't be living with them and then I wouldn't know the guys in my band. And like, it's this whole like butterfly effect that I think about all the time. It's crazy.
Do you and Ian still have contact?
Yeah, we do. We do. He actually produced, he lives in LA now, but he, produced a song that's coming out here hopefully soon. It needs to be mixed and mastered, but hopefully in the next like few months.
So have you ever had anyone come into your life and just for like a second, they introduce something that changes your life and then they kind of go away and you never see them again? Those are the people that I find fascinating.
Yeah. God, has there? I would say the people that have been most life-changing are the people that
are still around you?
Are still around me. But I'm trying to think if there's been anyone that's like come in for a second. I think there have been people though who have like certain energies, like people who I'm like, they have such an amazing outlook in life and I want to have that sort of, I want to make people feel that way. Or like, I want to, you know, hold myself in like a similar way, I guess. Like maybe people that I see and I'm like, you have such a good just like outlook on life kind of situation that I might not be close with.
Yeah, I think there's a guy I was listening to one time and he was saying steal from everyone.
Yeah. Well, that's as I'm getting older. I'm only 23, but I'm piecing myself together as we speak. But I've realized that, you know, I'm kind of just a collection of the people that I have surrounded myself with and the people that I've seen and, you know, looked up to. And I just kind of have taken on some of the traits that I think are cool in other people, I guess. That's a heavy realization for a 23-year-old. Is it? I think so, yeah. Thank you. I didn't get that until I was in my 30s. So yeah. Yes. It's impressive. Thank you. I'm, yeah, I mean, you know, I wouldn't be doing music if it wasn't for that. If I didn't think that the musicians were the coolest people on the planet, you know? They're interesting. There's a couple of other musicians that I know that are about your age, maybe a little younger, maybe 22. And I haven't talked to anyone that's expanded as far as these people are, like consciously. Interesting. I know that when I was 23, I was definitely not there. Like I was a nightmare at 23. That makes me feel better because there's definitely still some stuff I need to. Oh yeah. By the time you get to be my age, you're going to be like far beyond. Thank God. Yeah. So where can the people find your music at? People can find my music on Spotify, Apple Music, all of the streaming platforms that you use. iTunes, just Olivia Barnes is my name. Nice. And they can find you on Instagram and other places too? They can. So my Instagram is Olivia M. Barnes. M as in Marie. And yeah, on Instagram, that's me. And then Olivia Barnes Music on TikTok. And yeah. It's all over the platforms. I'm all over the platforms. I'm platforming it up. I like it. Yeah. Well, Olivia, thank you for coming in today. Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. Absolutely. You got any shows you want to pitch or anything? I do, actually. Yeah. I have a show coming up I'm playing on a bill at Carrollton Station on October 12th. Should be really fun. And then I am doing a show at Siberia on October 22nd. And then I'm doing a songwriter festival, the Ozone Songwriter Festival. What is that? It's in Covington, Louisiana. It's like a songwriter festival for a lot of Louisiana. And I think maybe some people just in surrounding states, songwriters who come together and it's just come together and like write songs. No, it's performing. Okay. Like yeah, so it's going to be performing original music, acoustic. I'm doing a solo set. So yeah, that's on October 26th or 27th. The lineup is coming out, so we'll know what day it is soon. But cool. Yeah. Thank you for coming in today, Olivia. Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it.